Let's go to Hoyoverse. So they are absolutely flying the white flag in Hoyoverse. So there was this Western boycott leader. This person was like one of the people leading the boycott, one of the people out there in front of the Hoyoverse boycott, and they actually deleted this post. Now, I retweeted them before they deleted it, right? So it was this retweet that I made, and I've got their entire thread, which is essentially a cope. I want to read through it because it's great. And this is the one I picked out here was they're saying that they're still going to play the game, and that's how they're going to boycott it, right? They're saying, right now, I do all this by making it clear what my views are, renaming myself to Boycott HYV in-game and stating my views in my bio. Soon I'll do this with Hoyo Lab, and I'll know I'll get disrespected there. That's my goal. Right. So let's read this this crazy Westerner and his thread here on how he is going to boycott Hoyoverse by reinstalling Hoyoverse. This is absolutely great. Let's continue here. Let's read this craziness. So we've got this. Okay, so why I installed Genshin Impact. Hashtag boycott HYV. Hashtag representation matters. Hashtag Notlin. So he's literally promoting the game in his tweeting. Hashtag Genshin Notlin. Hashtag Genshin Impact. Hashtag Notlin Impact. So you're promoting these. So great. You're doing a better job of promoting it than anything else. Okay. Now I am still part of the boycott, but I think it's important that we don't give up and quit Genshin as a whole. In doing so, we essentially give the Hoyo defenders a place to congregate, a place to call home. This person does not understand the meaning of the word boycott, right? You can't participate in something and boycott it. It's not how this works. Right? It's not how this works. Here we go. So with my first day of logging in, I was called a performative activist, and I called attempts at writing the N-word at me by 3 different people. Maybe they were just trying to call you a ninja. Who knows? I mean, it's an Asian game, you know. Now I should note that, yes, I was a frequent spender on Genshin and a Honkai Star Rail. I would steal my mother's credit card at night and spend $20 to $40 every few weeks or so. Money spent, which would lead us to becoming almost homeless in summer of 2023. Guys, this person made themselves a whale in the game by stealing their mother's credit card until they went homeless. That's insane. Look at it. Stealing my mother's credit card at night. Ladies and gentlemen, the boycotters are not sending their best. This is the most sane person ever. It only gets better, guys. It only gets better. I believe that if you were a free-to-play player before, you can quit. But if you were somebody who paid semi-frequently, keep playing and advocating for boycotting the game. It's important not to leave the actual game barren of its criticizers. How does that even make sense? You're literally saying, it's okay to play because you spent money, because you're going to be sad that you spent money on the game. Are you fucking kidding me? He's literally explaining addiction. It's like, you've done crack before. If you've already done crack, it's okay to do crack, right? If you haven't done crack, then you have to quit. But if you have done crack, you have to smoke that crack, right? Because you've already smoked it. And you don't want to let the non-crack smokers dominate the crack smoking space. It's a sunk cost fallacy. And these are children. Once again, shouldn't we be educating children on things like what a sunk cost fallacy is? We should be educating people on psychology and how they're falling into these like basic psychological traps. These are basic psychological mechanisms to get you to keep doing stuff. We should be educating people on that, but we're not, right? Instead, the schools are teaching them about activism, which is why this person feels the need to talk about activism and not about the reality of being addicted to a fucking game. Continues here because that's what we're doing. Criticizing. We aren't bashing Hoyo. We aren't. Wait, what? I thought you are. You're saying, boy, how do you say you're going to boycott Hoyoverse and you're not bashing them? What? We're not doxing. We're not threatening to sue. We're mocking and criticizing, essentially. We're not sending death threats to people who don't share our views. Well, death threats are always bad. So death threats, I don't think anybody should ever send those ever. But that said, if all you're doing is mocking and criticizing and you're not suing or not doing anything financially, that means you're entirely impotent. This boycott is literally playing itself. This boycott is actually supporting Genshin Impact more than anything else. But those who dislike the boycott have been sending death threats. Okay, let me just say, this is usually bullshit. These people always try to say, oh, we're getting death threats. Show me the death threats. Who are they coming from? Did you send them did you send the boycott yourself? Or sorry, did you send the death threat yourself? Because some people, in order to generate PR, they'll just false flag themselves. They'll create a fake email and send themselves a fake death threat, right? And they'll go, oh my God, I'm getting death threats, right? Let me check that email over there, Need some receipts, need some verification on who the person is who sent that. That said, have been saying slurs, making blackface. Who's doing blackface? Justin Trudeau? Is Trudeau coming for you? Making us out to be the racist despite us being proper representation of game we love. You are the racist. This viewpoint is incredibly racist and patronistic. And it's patronistic to the people who actually live there. Because I guarantee you this person is probably a white progressive, right? Who's holding this view. I'm very, very confident on that one. It's very interesting the way they do things. But we do love games. We just want to see our cultures, real people, real deities being disrespected by a company who claims it's fiction when they're confronted. I know this is going to be really offensive, but I mean, like, deities don't walk around in real life, right? Deities don't have feelings, even if they are real, quote unquote, even if you believe they're real, which is up to you. You can believe whatever you want to believe, but they're not going to be over here like crying in a corner. If I speak poorly of Yahweh, he doesn't like send me a sternly worded letter. So basically, I reinstalled Genshin. I will do my utmost not to post any praise to the game by keeping the game under the glasses of criticism. New players and therefore spenders will be less likely to play. Right now, I do this by making clear what my views are, renaming myself to Boycott HYV in the game and stating my views in my bio. Soon I'll do this with Hoyo Lab, as I know I'll get disrespected there, and that's my goal. To reveal how Hoyoverse has become a breeding ground and safe haven for racists, lolicons, and more. Okay, what community does that sound like? That sounds like people talking about the VTubing community, right? Because that's what they'll say about VTubers. They'll say VTubers and VTubing is a breeding ground for racists, lolicons, and horrible, horrible people, right? They say that about anime. They say anime is a breeding ground for racists and lolicons, et cetera, right? This is the same tired bullshit propaganda piece that people say about things when they don't like it and they're exposed as tourists. Generally, people like this, once they're exposed as tourists, they just shame the entire thing. And that's what, people just sour grapes. It's called sour grapes, right? They sour grapes everything because they're exposed as a tourist and they're not actually engaged with this thing, right? But it ends up promoting the thing even more. Now I want to play Genshin Impact and Hoyoverse games even more, right? Anyways, saying he's going to reveal how fucked up it is, how fucked up Hoyoverse has let its fan base become because of its own actions and ideals. Don't sell me any harder. Do not sell me any harder. A fucked up fan base? That sounds kind of based. Dawe is a coward. Ooh, there we go. He and his whole team of executives forcing his artists to change their own designs for fear they won't rake in cash in China. He's a fuckwad. He and all the people who defended him. Él es un demonio en his ojos. Thank you. And I'm sorry, and I love how people will use like one line of Spanish, and it's probably a white guy, from like Poughkeepsie, New York, and he thinks like, "Oh my God, I'm suddenly so diverse because I threw some Spanish in there." Anyways, thank you. And I'm sorry if some of you don't support my decision to do this. I'll be willing to take it back and take down the whole thread if it's recommended by most people on the side of Boycott. Well, he's deleted this. He's deleted this thread. So, I had to go back and find a good screen cap of this to share with you guys and share with you the delusion and the absolute L's of the Hoyoverse.